What up YouTube, FloppyWaffle69 here. In today's video, we are actually not going to be doing a review, but rather just looking at a gameplay, or going over a gameplay that I had in the West Virginia 44 Tier 7 Premium Battleship, the United States Navy. So just to sum it up, what the West Virginia 44 is, it is a Colorado class battleship that has more emphasis on its secondaries rather than its main armament. With that being said, though, its main armament is still very much potent, as they are 406mm guns. So again, it is a battleship. Your main damage dealer is going to be your guns. But anyways, I digress. So the West Virginia 44. Now, you might have known about the West Virginia 41 down at Tier 6. Well, this is that ship, but this is after, I believe, post Pearl Harbor, they refloated and rose the West Virginia out of the water and retrofitted it to, or refit it to basically to this ship, which you see present before you. And that is obviously good for us because it's what Wargaming promised us, back then, a couple years ago. They ended up following through with that promise, though it was pretty shaky. I don't know if you know the whole dilemma around the ship, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not here to talk about the in and outs of a company and its poor communication skills with the player base. Instead, I'm here to talk about the ship and the game that you see here before you. So that is what I'm going to do. Just quick little bumper boats here in the beginning of the game. Love that. Obviously, I don't know what he wanted to do, where he was going, but yeah, so we'll just do that. So anyways, the West Virginia 44, this is, I believe, one of the top ships for Tier 7, at least in my opinion, just because she offers a different kind of play style that we have, and it competes with other top dogs at this tier. The main one being the Scharnhorst 43, which is obviously the Scharnhorst retrofit that emphasizes secondaries and secondary DPM over the main caliber guns. So this is kind of the same thing for the Americans, just with a slight twist. This is still your battleship dreadnought, well, not dreadnought, but like battleship, kind of style, where that's more of a battle cruiser, as it has emphasized with the speed boost. Again, I don't believe the Scharnhorst 43 needs the speed boost, but I'm not going to be talking about the Scharnhorst 43. So with a full secondary build on these 127mm dual-purpose guns that the West Virginia gets, I believe the max range you can get them out to is 9.5 kilometers, which is pretty much in line with all the other secondary ships of this tier. I think the Heinrich has the 9.5 fully built, and so does the Scharnhorst 43. And I believe the original Scharnhorst as well can get its secondaries out that far as well. Again, I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, so the range is not what makes the secondary special. It's just 127mm. I believe it's more of the fire starting chance and just having that at your disposal. Which, let's be honest, a Colorado class battleship with its slow maneuverability, anemic turret traverse, and all that, when you have a potent secondary battery at that, it will help against destroyers and other various ships when you get in those close combat areas. Or kind of those situations, right? But you know what, it begs the question, this is something that I kind of wondered all across, the whole time when this ship was in production and testing and all that kind of stuff, is why would I want to get my Colorado in brawling range? I don't think the hull is necessarily very tanky or good. I don't think the ship's maneuverability or speed is made for secondaries at that. And I mean, just because if I want to get my ship within secondary range, does that mean it's a secondary style ship, right? All viable questions. And I'm going to flat out say it. I think this ship was just kind of a hodgepodge. They didn't know what they wanted to do with it, but they promised that the ship, the retrofit version of the 41, the 44 here, to the community, and they knew that they know that the community loves their secondary battleships, so they just slapped a secondary kind of gimmick to the ship. And the people, I think the player base was overall generally happy about it. But I'm left wondering why. Again, I'm not complaining. It's fun. I do really much enjoy the ship, and maybe down the road I'll do a little review on her. But it was kind of a questionable, design decision by me, just based upon how the Colorado plays, and the tier under the West Virginia plays. I don't know, just raises some eyebrows. That's all I'm trying to say. So, obviously here we picked up the kill on the New York or the Texas, and we are indeed doing what I just said, getting my ship into secondary range just to utilize the secondaries. It also is good because I can then draw some fire off my allies, tank a little bit, and support them in other ways other than just raw damage dealing. And I think I've talked about this in my Palmer review or whatever. I think a lot of the times battleships are so concerned or overly concerned about taking damage that they forget that it's such a vital, necessary skill to help win games for your team. Just being a target for the enemy to shoot. Of course, not just saying like broadside. I mean, you're angling and being aware of your surroundings, but just being a target to shoot and take off, take relief away from, let's say, more, potential harder ship. Basically, ship side to have a higher chance of carrying games is definitely ideal. I mean, that's just how I like to play, and I find myself in a kited situation, which is obviously going to give any ship the distinct advantage. And the Italian battleship is struggling, and my secondaries are just farming him for, automated damage as they aim center mass there. And again, I'm mainly looking for basically the fire damage. I'm not really looking for the raw damage, as it doesn't have that quarter penetration mechanic that the German battleships get. That's basically the trade-off there for, like, same with the Ohio. Like, you're looking at just the raw HE fire starting potential more so than the damage. Again, that's why there's that whole discussion about IFHE and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a firm believer that I don't believe you need IFHE, just because the lack of consistency of your shells landing where they need to land in order to do the penetration damage on ships, rather just making contact with the ship and getting a chance to start a fire, is enough for me anyways. And plus, the raw amount of ships that you cross the threshold to actually do meaningful damage to, it's such a slim margin, in most opinion, at least in my opinion, that it's like, again, it doesn't justify it. So with the takedown there of the Italian tier 7 battleship, I can see that my enemy on this flank is kind of retreating, and with my slow lumbering battleship, I know that the best play here for me to, instead of pushing and never catching these guys, is to instead go back and help the other flank as they push into me rather than pushing. This is one of those ships, just because she's so slow, she doesn't have the speed boost like the Strong Horse 43, that I consider her to be more of a deterrent for pushing rather than a pushing battleship, if that makes sense. So I like to play her more as defending caps in a push with those secondaries rather than pushing into. Great sub on the Myoko right there. You'd love to see that. That is the main reason why everyone plays battleships, right? So, anyways, and that's a different different take. I don't think most people have that take. Like, another one is I'm gonna butcher their name, the Lugdum or whatever, the Lyon tier 7 pan-European battleship that kind of has secondary focus, right, with like the Lyon secondary focus for the pan-Europeans. It's the same kind of thing, in a pre-kited position on your on a flank where the enemy team is trying to push. That's kind of where I see these ships excelling more so than directly pushing in, just because the weird firing angles and like this one, for example, with just the basically four guns of 406s pushing inward is just rough, and then exposing my flat broadside to get all 8 it's just not worth it in my opinion. So that's just some fuel for thought. Again, depending on, I don't know if you like to push in yours, but just something that I like to do personally. So again, another thing I've talked about on this channel is utilizing the giant map, the mini map on the bottom right. A lot of people don't like to use that, but yes, utilizing the mini map, seeing where the enemy ships are, it can win or lose you games, right? And making the decision to go back with my division mate here, I think helped win this game big time for us, for our team. So. One thing to note about the the West Virginia 44 is, yeah, the dispersion values of the main battery guns, again, emphasizing more so that this is, I guess, tailored more to secondaries to kind of rein it in, right? Sigma of only 1.8, with your vertical dispersion being 97 millimeters, or sorry, my bad, 97 meters, and a horizontal dispersion of 180. Just kind of emphasizes more so that you're going to have more of the spread shells going off. Kind of a typical trait that you would see something on like the IGN mainline, like the Yamato line.
Torpedoes, dead ahead.
So it's just interesting. You're going to have more of that like shotgun spread. So if you reliably want to hit something, I find myself within like the 13-kilometer under range, and I'm reliably hitting my targets, and my shells going consistently, if I want to use that word, kind of where they're going, to land where I want them to go. So just a little quick side note on that. But yeah, I mean, the West Virginia 44 is a blast. I don't even know. I think she's in the premium store. I know for a while there, she wasn't just flat out released. She was like in some like themed event or something like that a couple years back. But I believe she's now just in the premium store for everyone to just flat out purchase, which thank God. These are one of those ships that I'd like to see the community have. Like as in coal or whatever, like with update 14.2 coming in here in a couple days, having the key being added to the armory for coal is great, and we're starting to see that trend of like older ships that Wargaming doesn't think they can make money on. Those are migrating themselves over to the armory for coal, whereas the newer ships coming out are just either in gambling or loot box events or flat out for purchase. Again, I'm happy that it gives us more choices, or there can be more choices to do, but I am a little bit ashamed and disappointed with coal ships as Wargaming is starting to move, away from the coal ship kind of mentality thing here. So, and there goes our Kraken. So far, we're having kind of a no pun intended Kraken game, right? In the West Virginia 44, and I believe as we're winding down here. We're just making sure that we quelled the enemy push and maybe get a couple more sabos in with enemy ships before they inevitably blow up, as we should win this game. Flat broadside cock ring here, and we go ahead and hit them pretty hard. What is that, 2 or 3 overpens and 1 penetration, that 1 penetration being our only citadel on a flat broadside. You love to see it, but hey, it's okay, it's a balancing feature, I get it. This guy's basically dead at this point. I'm sure he's launching his torpedoes using the white indicator, and we're going to turn in, let those torpedoes eventually inevitably blow past us, and just let our secondaries farm. I was like, at this point, I'm like, my secondaries are going to kill him just because they pen that threshold on this light cruiser, and there we go. And we pick up our 6th kill of the game here. So, I know this isn't a review for anyone for about this ship, but I will throw this in there. I love this ship. I think this is a great ship. To me, more fun than the Scharnhorst 43, as I do believe the Scharnhorst 43 is a little bit overtuned. Looking at the speed boost, I don't think it needs it. Again, I'll talk about that ship a whole other video another time. There's the torpedoes that we inevitably predicted, and we're just gonna sail in and inevitably not shoot this guy because he'll be dead long before we even get there. But I would definitely recommend this ship. This is a great ship. It's a great pickup. Hopefully you guys get lucky enough to get it with Santa crates, and or if you already have her, that's awesome. I think she's a blast. A lot of fun to be had in her too. So yeah, overall very, very fun from the secondaries, from the main artillery. Her AA is definitely not bad either, especially because you have the defensive AA boost there, consumable. So definitely an overall a very fun ship to play. And there we go, our team picking up the final kill on the Arizona there, as I couldn't just sneak one in fast enough. So anyways, I hope everyone enjoyed the video today, and I will catch you all next time with another video. Peace.